My life on the street was a constant struggle. I had no parents, no home, and no real place to call my own. I often wondered what it would be like to have a warm bed to sleep in and a proper meal every day. But despite my hardships, I had a big heart and a strong sense of right and wrong. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Nancy. One evening, as the city buzzed with activity around me, I found myself near a small park. My stomach grumbled, a reminder of my empty belly. I watched as people walked past me, wrapped up in their busy lives. I hoped someone might show a bit of kindness and offer me a scrap of food. But the world seemed to have forgotten about me. As I sat, my attention was drawn to a commotion across the street. A store was surrounded by a group of people, their faces a mix of shock and concern. My curiosity grew, and I decided to cautiously approach the scene. I made sure to stay hidden behind a parked car, my ragged clothes blending with the shadows. Peeking out from my hiding spot, I saw two figures rushing out of the store. They were dressed in dark clothes, wearing masks that covered their faces. In their hands were bags filled with items that didn't belong to them. My heart raced as I realized I was witnessing a crime, a theft right before my eyes. Conflicting emotions swirled within me. I knew that stealing was wrong, something I had learned even in my difficult circumstances. But I also felt a pang of fear. I didn't want to get involved or draw attention to myself. Yet, deep down, I understood the importance of what I had seen. I knew that if I didn't do something, those thieves might get away with their wrongdoing. My mind raced as I thought about what to do. I reached into my worn backpack and pulled out an old cracked cell phone that I had found discarded months ago. With trembling hands, I dialed the emergency number for the police and held the phone to my ear, speaking in heavy voice. I described the scene, giving the store's location, the description of the thieves, and the direction they had headed. As I spoke, I glanced nervously around, hoping no one would notice me. I felt a sense of responsibility mixed with fear, but I knew that I had made the right choice. While I was on the phone, the thieves managed to disappear into the labyrinth of alleyways that crisscrossed the city. The distant wail of sirens grew louder, and soon enough a police car pulled up in front of the store. Officers jumped out, determined to investigate the crime. My heart pounded in my chest as I watched from my hiding place. The police officers entered the store and spoke with the distressed store owner. I couldn't hear their conversation, but I could sense the frustration in the store owner's gesture. The officers examined the scene, taking notes and photographs. After a while, the police officers returned to their car, their expressions a mix of determination and disappointment. I stayed hidden as they left the area, my heart still racing. I knew I had done the right thing, but I couldn't help but worry about what might happen next. Would the thieves be caught? Would they come looking for me? The night grew darker. I found my way back to the old tree where I usually sought shelter. I curled up under its branches, the rough bark providing a sense of familiarity and comfort. My stomach still ached with hunger, but my mind was occupied with the thoughts of the events I had witnessed. Next morning, with a mix of feeling of relief and anxiety, I knew I had helped, but I was also unsure of what might come of it. I continued my daily routine of searching for bits of food and trying to find safe spots to rest. The day passed slowly, the city's bustling activity a stark contrast to my own uncertain existence. Just as the sun began to set again, I noticed a police officer approaching my makeshift shelter. My heart skipped a beat, my mind racing with worry, but the officer's kind smile and gentle voice put me at ease. He introduced himself as Officer Martinez and thanked me for my call to the police the previous night. He explained that the information I had provided had been crucial in helping them gather evidence and piece together the details of the crime. My eyes widened in surprise and a sense of accomplishment I did. I had made a difference even though I didn't have a permanent home or a fancy life. Officer Martinez handed me a warm meal from a food truck that had been dispatched to assist the community. As I savored each bite, I felt a mixture of emotions, gratitude, relief, and a newfound sense of purpose. I realized that despite my challenging circumstances, I could still have a positive impact on the world around me. In the days that followed, I continued to keep an eye out for anything unusual on the streets. I had become a silent guardian, watching over my city from my unique vantage point. I reported any suspicious activities I witnessed, just like I had that fateful night. And as time went on, my actions didn't go unnoticed. The police officers grew to recognize me and would occasionally stop by to check on me, making sure I was safe and had enough to eat. I had found a sense of belonging, a way to contribute, and a community that cared for me in their own way. As the seasons changed and the city continued to bustle, I would sometimes glance over the old tree that had become my refuge. It stood as a symbol of my strength and resilience, a reminder that even in the toughest of circumstances, a kind heart and a courageous spirit could make a difference, no matter how small. We lived in the charming town of Oakville. We were best friends, me and Emily. From a young age, we were inseparable, sharing dreams, secrets, and adventures. I was known for my kind and caring nature, always putting others before herself. On the other hand, Emily had a flair for the extravagant and a keen eye for the finer things in life. As we grew older, Emily's fascination with wealth and luxury became more apparent. She would often talk about designer clothes, expensive vacations, and lavish parties she wished to attend. While I admired Emily's aspirations, I couldn't help but sense a change in her friends' priorities. One evening, while we were strolling through a local park, Emily pointed at a magnificent mansion nestled among the trees and whispered to I, "Wouldn't it be incredible to live there one day?" I smiled and replied, "Sure, it would be beautiful, but remember, happiness isn't solely about wealth and possessions." Emily brushed off my remark, insisting that her desire for a luxurious lifestyle was merely a result of wanting the best life had to offer. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that my friend's pursuit of material wealth might be overshadowing what truly mattered in life: genuine relationships and personal growth. One fateful day at a charity gala, Emily had the chance to meet James, a successful entrepreneur with a heart of gold. They were introduced by a mutual acquaintance, and sparks flew instantly. I observed the connection between Emily and James, but couldn't ignore the nagging concern in her heart. Emily and James began dating, and their relationship quickly blossomed. Emily felt like she was living a fairy tale, swept up in the excitement of dating someone successful and wealthy. However, I started noticing subtle changes in her behavior. Emily seemed more focused on the expensive gifts James gave her and the admiration she received from their social circles than on the genuine connection we shared. Feeling the weight of her worries, I decided it was time to have a heart-to-heart conversation with Emily. I chose my words carefully, expressing my concerns with empathy and understanding. "Emily, I worry that your focus on material things might be overshadowing the love and connection you have with James. It's essential to value what's in a person's heart rather than their bank account." Emily grew defensive at first, dismissing my words as mere jealousy. But as we continued to talk, she began to realize that her pursuit of luxury might be causing harm to her relationship and, more importantly, to her own happiness. Days turned into weeks, and I could see the internal struggle Emily was facing. On one hand, she cherished the time spent with James, enjoying his companionship and the finer things he provided. On the other hand, she felt a void in her heart, knowing that something essential was missing. One night, during a grand party at James' mansion, I observed Emily amidst the glitz and glamour. She seemed distant, as though the extravagance around her failed to fill the void in her soul. I couldn't bear to see my friend this way, torn between her genuine feelings and her desire for material wealth. After the party, I mustered the courage to share my observations with Emily. I see you struggling, Emily. Maybe it's time to reflect on what truly brings you happiness and fulfillment. Is it the luxury or the love and the connection you share with James? I gently asked. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she finally let her guard down. I don't know. I'm so torn. James is wonderful, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm not being true to myself, Emily confessed. I embraced my friend, offering a reassuring presence. It's okay, Emily. We all face internal conflicts. What matters is that you're willing to confront these feelings. Take some time to reflect on your values and what truly matters to you. In the following days, Emily took my advice to heart. She sought solace in quiet moments of self-reflection, looking deep within herself to understand her desires and priorities. Her heart led her to acknowledge that the pursuit of material wealth was not the key to lasting happiness. Emily decided to have an open and honest conversation with James. She expressed her gratitude for everything he had given her, but also her inner conflict about her own desires and what truly brought her happiness. Much to her surprise, James showed immense understanding and respect for her feelings. Although Emily's relationship with James came to an end, it was not out of bitterness or disappointment. They parted as friends, acknowledging that sometimes the paths we walk must diverge for the sake of personal growth and self-discovery. In the weeks that followed, Emily dedicated herself to exploring her passions and finding joy in simple pleasures. She started volunteering at a local community center, helping others in need and discovering the joy that came from making a difference in people's lives. Through this journey, Emily and my friendship deepened further. I was by her side, cheering her on every step of the way. Emily's transformation was evident, and she found contentment in living authentically, free from the burden of materialistic desires. As the years passed, me and Emily continued to support each other through life's ups and downs. Emily became a successful entrepreneur in her own right, but her definition of success had evolved. Instead of chasing material wealth, she focused on making a positive impact on others and finding joy in the relationships she nurtured. Our story became a testament to the strength of friendship and the power of self-discovery. My bond with Emily served as a reminder that true happiness lay not in the pursuit of wealth and possessions, but in embracing authenticity, compassion, and the genuine connections we forge with others along life's journey.